You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio
You're
Show
listening to
is
FM
on the way now.
105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Pump, jacked, final weekend without college football. Final week/weekend without college football coming up. Of course, Brian Hartman doesn't care. He loves those NFL exhibition games, those preseason games. My nephew Joe took my great nephew AJ to the Eagles and the Ravenites over the weekend. I don't know if the Eagles scored a point. And it's just so unwatchable. Such a bad product, man. Whew. But we're not worried about that. You know what we're worried about? Our Tennessee Volunteers and what happened in the scrimmage over the weekend. And Bino, Jeff, and Bry, how was our weekend before we get to the festivities here?
It was
just very hot
weekend, Tony.
Did you play ball, Bino?
We did.
Out in that heat.
Played 3 Saturday and 1 Sunday.
Where'd you go?
To Gallatin, Tennessee. Oh, no, heat index about 105. Luckily, we played the first 2 games at like 8 and 9:30 on Saturday, and then the tournament director wisely moved the bracket games, which were supposed to be at 2 and 3:30 to 6 and 7:30. So,
yeah, and I don't know what's better, playing out there in the noonday heat or playing after the ground gets a chance to soak in all that heat all day and then it's refracting back at you. I know one thing, like 4:30 in the afternoon on those days, Bino, when that heat starts refracting back to you, is just. Whew, I don't know how people work in it, man. I don't know. I respect anybody that's out there working in that.
Wow. Amen. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Well, the extra recovery time, Tony, was worth more than the decrease in temperature. So.
Yep. So while you were away, Bino, you leave, and we had a great topic over the weekend I want you to think about, which is, what's your desert island game, Bino, for the upcoming year? We can continue to kick that around. We got some phone calls in, but not a ton. And I'm in my doctor's.
What is a desert island game?
I'm in my doctor's appointment time of the year where I'm doing my checkups. I've got 2 over the next 2 days. So
good for you.
Yeah, it's preventative medicine, matters. And I'm one of these people, I got something going on. I want to know about it. So last time I ignored that, I ended up in the hospital. So I figure I'd rather be safe than sorry, but, or maybe safe and sorry, who knows? But, so today we'll do some high noon overtime, but I do want to get the high noon hotlines rolling today. And I want to talk to you. Obviously, you've probably heard by now about the scrimmages. Orange Throat has a very funny thing he says today. I love that the scrimmages are closed, but yet we kind of all know what happened in the scrimmage. Bino, a scrimmage is closed when they tell Mr. Haslam, you can't come in here, or Charlie Anderson, you can't come in here. Or when they tell people from like James Clausen and Tennessee's NIL, you guys can't come in here. That's a closed scrimmage, Bino. Scrimmage where we're letting some in and some not. I mean, what? And Throat's got a great point. Tell you, it's a funny thing. I was before we get to Tennessee scrimmage, just a quick aside. I was talking about the NFL and the Eagles and this, that, and the other. And the Eagles last week made news. Chris Burke sent this to me when they sent out a tweet of Jalen Hurts getting a ball intercepted. But it's a funny thing when you open practices, because the media will report things and then fan bases turn on the media. And the media kind of turns themselves into sort of targets, if you will, which is kind of fun. Like, I can't believe you would report on that, Jalen Hurts threw 5 dirt balls today. You're just picking on the guy. In the NFL, they know what they're doing. College football needs a commissioner in the worst way. They could monetize this time of the year, put like a jersey with a jersey, have preseason presented by, however you want to do that. And they could have had that scrimmage open on Saturday. They're not doing any game install stuff at these scrimmages. They're just working. But at any rate, the NFL level has it figured out. And this level, they let the head coaches run wild for some stupid reason. But I digress. So over the weekend, George McIntyre has had a really good run. And then Brandon won the day on Saturday. And Faison Brandon was really, really good in the scrimmage and was really sharp and just won the day. Now, McIntyre wasn't terrible, but playing football is not throwing the ball against air. It's getting out there. It's making the decisions. It's getting yourself in the right play, getting out of the wrong plays. There's a lot going on. I do think that Orange Throat's right. Tennessee now feels like they've got 2 playable quarterbacks because McIntyre has raised the level of play and raised his level. Faison Brandon, if he has one more practice like that, according to people I talked to, the job will be his. if he has one more scrimmage like that. So, good stuff. Good stuff. And Tennessee's offense ripped their defense limb from limb over the weekend, which, Bino, you and I have seen scrimmages back in the day where you got the Peyton Mannings out there and all this hardware, and they couldn't do anything against the defense because defenses are generally ahead of offenses at this time of the year. What do we make of this, Bino?
Yeah, I battle with this every year, Tony, and you're right. Generally, we would go over there and early on in camp think, man, we're going to. I remember going over there before the season '98 and thinking, man, I don't know about this offense at all. And yeah, I mean, it's a give and take, Tony. There's no way to be happy. There's no way to be happy as a fan in a inter squad scrimmage. There's just no way. Something's going to be good and something's going to be bad. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know that we can make anything of it.
I guess I have a little trepidation in that Jim Knowles is a coordinator who it takes a while for his defense. So I could imagine there's a lot of people out of position. I mean, just, kind of thinking how a 99-yard run could happen in a scrimmage. That's got to be it. That's got to be a positioning issue, right? Just got to be. If you just think about it. And, I'm not going to make more out of it than is there, but that's a little concerning. Either that or Tennessee's back to having a great offense. Who knows?
And Tony, I don't think you're going to, with two young quarterbacks, even if there's a great understanding and a lot of installment already done on the defensive side, you're probably not going to use a whole bunch of that on young quarterbacks in a scrimmage. You probably want them to have some success and have some confidence. I don't think in any shape, form, or fashion Tennessee's going to defend their own offense in a scrimmage the way they're going to defend an opponent's.
Watson Brown told us the other day, Brian, in his appearance, that in a scrimmage, as an offensive guy, you never go over and tell the defensive guy what to do. You want to fly blind from that perspective, and you want your defense to stop your offense. Now, I don't know. I mean, does Bino have a good point in terms of what may have happened? Again, these things are closed. And when you close things and you let some people in and word leaks out, then we care about it. So we're going to talk about it. And when we care about it, we talk about it, we're going to speculate. And when we speculate, we get into the what fors and the whys, and is it a sign of what's to come as the season unfolds? Is Tennessee's defense not going to be very good again? I have no idea. Are they going to be great? G City Vol says 99-yard run was against second and third teamers, supposedly. Okay, that's fine, but here's the deal. 99-yard runs don't happen. So we have guys out of position. We have second teamers out. I don't know.
I think there has to be some concern, a level of concern, Tony, about our defense just based on the performance last year and some injuries that we've had already this year.
Yes.
I do have concerns there. Yeah, I've got concerns about our defense. I'm not sure they're at all based on what happens in a scrimmage, but yeah, I got some concerns about our defense.
Sure. And I think that's warranted. Look, you weren't here Friday, but we lost the safety in real time. It was bizarre. I got a text Friday before the show. Somebody I knew was there and texted me and says, "Hey, this injury just happened right in front of us, and it was gruesome." And a patellar tendon, that is your kneecap, right? Like popping off. Is that kind of I believe that's what that is.
Yeah, I mean, your patellar tendon is a kneecap stabilizer, but I don't know exactly, Tony, medically.
And so that occurs in, wow, somebody's calling me here. Hi, this is Tony.
I thought maybe Titans Bill was going to let us know what he was watching.
Yeah, so Dr. calling Bino to confirm. I had to pick that up. See, Bino, see how that goes? And thank you, Brian, for picking up the slack there.
It's live radio, Tony. There wasn't any slack there.
That was Courtney. That was Courtney calling me. But Tennessee loses a guy in Farouk who's really taken to this defense, is really going to have a very good year for them. Huge loss. After losing a linebacker last week. Throaty said, I wonder if they get kind of skeevy and decide just to dial it down and not test fate. I don't think you can do that, Bino. I think you got to get your football team ready, don't you?
I think you have to balance those things, Tony, though. Yeah. I don't, I think you have to balance if you're thin on one side, what you do in practice.
Yeah. So I just think it's very interesting. And when you don't allow people to see, then you allow the lack of perspective that maybe I have, and that's fine. But who knows? I know this. The most important position on the field in this day and age, Beanstar, happens to be where?
The most important position on the field?
Yep.
On defense?
No, on anything.
Well, I would say quarterback is the most important position on the field.
And Tennessee's got a really good one. Now, is he going to be good the whole time? No. Is he going to make stupid mistakes? Sure. Are they going to trick him and fool him and get him to commit silly turnovers early in the season? Yes. Is he physically pretty damn good? Yeah. He's physically pretty damn good. He was impressive Saturday. And really, I will trade, some defensive growing pains, so to speak, for Brandon going out and showing out like that. I will trade that any day of the week. That's a double play for a run, Bino, in my book. Give me the double play, you score the run.
It's just really good to hear positive feedback about Brandon, and it's also good that we've heard of a resurgent for George McIntyre Jr. because we need those two young guys to push each other.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that's going to be really interesting to watch this year, Tennessee is not playing at the breakneck speed that they once did. And I still think they're going to go situationally fast from time to time, but I think the days of speedball football here, there, and everywhere are pretty much over. This is from a piece in ESPN.com late last week. And it reads as follows. And I want to kick this out here today and see if this makes sense to the living listener. The Miami-Ohio State game was a microcosm of several trends in a sport that's evolving with analytics, technology, longer seasons. And remember, the SEC is going to a 9-game conference schedule. So now you're going to get more into analytics, what they do in the pro ranks. In a lot of ways, you're held more accountable for how quick you go. So let's think through this. The Miami-Ohio State game was a microcosm of several trends in a sport evolving with analytics. Technology got longer seasons and closer ties to the NFL game. Offenses are still as efficient as ever. FBS teams average 2.24 points per drive in 2025, the most in the last decade. But overall scoring is down 8% since 2016. So how can you be averaging more points per drive, but scoring be down? That doesn't make any sense, right? But it goes back to what we were just talking about. 28.4 offensive points per game at 26.2 points per game, but offenses are more efficient. And this is where the nerds come into play. Teams are averaging 7% more time between plays and 11% fewer drives per game. Now, that doesn't feel significant, but it's pretty significant when you stop and think about how fast, like for instance, this year, how fast we did not play last year. It's interesting, Bino, that the breakneck speed offense might be on its way out. The concept of burning out your defense, and again, you got Jim Knowles here. You have a new defense. If I could expose them less, why wouldn't I expose them less if I want them to make it, Bino? That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I know there's been rule changes that have kind of affected some of that play as well. But it's cyclical, Tony, and people catch up and have and force you to do some things differently. But I wonder if the biggest reason is teams hoping to protect their defense somewhat, all teams, and keep them off the field a little bit more.
Yeah, because teams when you start hearing about what's happening game to game, teams are staying on the field more defensively. Games slowing down. Another thing that's going on, and this is if you've been around like we have, Beanstar, you and I both know that back in the day, 4th and short anywhere, you punted. 4th and short, your 45, you punted. 4th and short, their 45, you punted. Now, 4th and short, the expectation is you're going all the way down the field. We've seen Tennessee 4th and short on their own 30 go. What are you doing there? Well, for one thing, I'm keeping the football. For another thing, I'm keeping you on the field. For another thing, if I slow it down, I'm slowing the game down that much more. And if you stop and think about that, like people talk about, well, who's your punt returner? Who cares? How many punt returns do we have last season? What would you say the number is, guys? Punt returns Tennessee had. Let alone the kickoff return, which is borderline about disappeared with these modern kickers.
Longer than 10 yards, let's say.
Yeah.
I would have no idea, Tony.
You don't see it anymore. You got punters that now roll out and do the rugby stuff, or they're taught just to kick it high or kick it directionally. And you got fewer and fewer punts per game. Now, I would love to know what the number of punts is per game now compared to, say, 20 years ago. I think it's very interesting what's happened to college football. And if you think about it, Tennessee with acquiring DGG is going to fit right in this era. Because I think the concept is we're going to smash you on the ground, which has always been the concept of this offense. But again, not everything has to be a quick play. Nothing wrong with good 7 or 8 minute drive. And by the way, I wonder if they revisit now in light of what's happening in the game, if we quit doing this lay down stuff. You think that could be a byproduct of this, Bino, or you think Heupel just loves that lay down lineman so much that he invented that? I've never seen anybody do that before him. Have you guys? Laying down on an extra point? I don't ever remember seeing that.
I've never seen it until we started doing it.
Yeah, it's a Heupel.
It was so odd that people in my section still were believing it was a real thing late in that first season that we saw it.
Yeah, my thought is, why are we,
No,
especially in this era right now.
There's no reason to do that.
Now we're getting ready to walk in. This era, we're getting ready to walk in. So Ryan Day said something interesting to ESPN because the fourth down success, though, you've got longer, slower drives. I mean, that's a key. I was talking to C last year about this, and it's like if you go back and you watch a game on YouTube, and I take any game, those classic 1990 games. Back then, when you were a fan and you got somebody third and you stopped them fourth and short, the referee could come out and go like this. Okay. And what I'm putting up there, 3 or 4 inches. Okay. That's what I'm putting up. Bino, they would punt the ball back then. You remember that? We would all celebrate because fourth down meant you were punting. That is not the case anymore. In fact, it's not even close to being the case. These coaches now, in NFL ball, did you ever think we'd see in NFL ball, Bino, them going on their own 30 on fourth and shorts? If the Tom Landrys of the world could see that.
No, it's a totally different game, Tony, than the one that we grew up with.
And I'm going to tell you something. I don't blame them. That makes a lot of this analytic stuff, like with baseball, makes zero sense to me. You can't tell me putting the ball in play is not of value. That's a joke. And you can't tell me that every hitter in your lineup swinging with launch angle and hitting fly balls instead of just hitting line drives, you can't uppercut swinging is everybody should be doing that. That's idiotic. Putting the ball in play should matter. Not striking out should matter. But this stuff with football makes total sense to me. And I think if Tennessee,
I think every game that we follow now is just tremendously different.
Yep.
Than we were when we grew up.
Yes.
In basketball now, you see very few intermediate range shots. That was a huge part of the game, of course, when we grew up. And as you said, it's used to it was shameful to strike out a whole bunch.
Yep.
And now it really doesn't matter. And then you've got all the changes that we see in football as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the numbers have removed some of the fear factor from coaches And it's more accepted now to where if they go for it on 4th and short on their end of the field and they don't make it, they're probably not pounded with criticism the way that they used to be, because people understand the numbers a little bit better and the percentages.
Bill Battle did that, did he, Bino? Went on a 4th.
Oh yeah, he faked a punt. He faked a punt in his end against Georgia that cost him a game, and might have never recovered from that with the fan base.
So, but today, if you do that, to Bino's point, today they go, hey, man, like we're on in the post-game show going, hey, that's a good try. Hey, I respect that. You're playing to win.
Today they would probably still get on you for faking a punt, but they wouldn't get on you as much if you lined up and ran a play.
Which is a funny thing, right?
Yeah.
And you are right. The changes in these games are so minute that over time you don't even, it's like looking at your face every day. Go, good damn, I'm old looking. Look at me. But you know, it happens so incrementally, they're not even aware of it happening till you think, how many punt returns of more than 10 yards did Tennessee have last year? And if you take the Crip games away, take away the Crip games and the real football games, how many punt returns in a real Southeastern Conference, or say the Georgia Tech game, a real intersectional game, do you think there is? There are so few now. And we're living in an era where I remember being on here in 2020, spring of 2020, and seeing the XFL kickoff for the first time. And I remember calling Bino and I said, have you seen this? He said, no, Tony, I don't watch spring football. You know better than that. The NFL is now using their kickoff. Do you like it better, Bino, what they've done? Because it's allowed the kickoff to stay in the NFL game. I don't know why the colleges haven't and the high schools haven't all gone to this kickoff. It makes much more sense what the NFL's done.
Yeah, I'm sure they've seen a reduction in injuries too, Tony, as well as putting the return back in the game. We had 16 punt returns last year for 164 yards. So we averaged 10.25 yards on punt returns.
Say it again.
We returned 16 punts last year for 164 yards.
All season.
So our punt return average was 2.25, and we returned 16. We had 16 returns. And if I'm reading this right, our opponents only had 8 returns of punts all year.
That's correct, yeah, because we have a runaround punter. Here's the thing. 16 punt returns a year. There used to be 4 or 5 punt returns in a game.
Yeah.
Easy. Each team. See, these things, and they just kind of disappear. And I would love to know, like if you took a season, let's say Garden Variety year, 1990, how many 4th down attempts did Tennessee have in 1990 all year? I would bet you do that now in 3 games in major college football.
Probably all just in the 4th quarter when you're behind and need to go for it.
Yeah. And Michael Moats is speaking what I'm speaking. College football kickoff return, you know what it is? College football kickoff return is an opportunity for a commercial break. It's a chance for you and me to get up and go get something out of the ice box, or if nature's calling, preemptively get that out of the way before we get back to the scrimmage and watching the game. but it's a non-play now. I've got a big leg kicker. He kicks the ball up in the air. A guy catches it now at the 2-yard line. Back then, if a guy caught a kick and just stood there back then, he would have gotten his head knocked off. So here's my question, right? Why don't they go to the normal, what the NFL's doing, which I call normal, kickoff, which encourages returns? You have that little landing zone. Whoever thought that out said, we got this game, but we can make it better. And that is better. Having that landing zone there. And by the way, if you kick it past the landing zone, you give up 5 yards. You pay the price. That ball comes out 5 yards further. I think it's fair, Beanstar. They should be doing that.
Well, they made their extra point play one of those that you didn't have to, that you used to not really need to watch because it was so automatic when it was close, but then they moved it back 10 yards and now it's not as automatic.
Yes.
They gave you a reason to watch it.
Rob's channel wants some attention. He wants to know what happened with the DB. Hey, and the defensive lineman. Rob, I wasn't there, buddy. I wasn't at the practice. I can't help you. I'm sorry. I wasn't there. Brent CV3 Bino broke it out. Played 8 SEC games last year. People say, well, who's a punt returner? Special. You know what special teams mean today? Is your punter good? And does your field goal kicker make field goals when it matters? Because return games, they're not even a part of this thing anymore. They're just not. The only time a return game is a part of it is when you have somebody backed up in their own goal line and they got to punt the ball out. That's the only time you get an opportunity for it. That's the only time. How many in 8 games last year, Beanstar? How many punt returns do you think the Vols had?
In SEC games?
Yeah, 8 games last year.
I'll say 10.
How about 7?
Wow.
Now, is that crazy? For 34 yards, 5.4 yards per punt return average. It, again, slower games, more plays, dare I say, less special teams, more 4th down attempts. Teams don't punt anymore. For the most part, you're either going to each drive, unless you do what we do sometimes, which is get behind the chains. You get behind the chains, all bets are off. Any bets off. I get behind the chains and all bets are off. But slower games, more possession, less opportunity for punt returns, balls over midfield now more because I'm going to take chances in my own end unless I get behind the chains. These offenses are hard to stop now. If you think about it, you put it in that perspective, you've got these world-class athletes. You've got all this science that goes into this now, and everybody's going to go on 4th and short. Everybody. Even when we play the 1AA games, those teams go on 4th and short and convert against you. If you think about it, they convert against you. Now, they're not always going to run plays at the line of scrimmage and convert on you, but they might run a sweep. They might run some misdirection out here. They might run, who knows? There's a myriad of things you can do to get somebody isolated in space, but the point still remains that it's just interesting how the game has changed in light of this Faison Brandon guy is going to be hell on wheels once it slows down for him. I believe in this era of you got to get the ball out of my hands, and I'm going to use 4 downs. He's going to be. You put him and that kid from Canada back there, D to the double G. This is going to be It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm pumped. Are you pumped? And Bino, this Tyreek King guy that you told me about from Catholic is a hell of a player, I hear. That's another development from over the weekend. This kid is a nice player.
It's good to hear good things about really young players over there, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. I think we're going to be. I think our receiving core is going to be really solid.
If there's one thing that I would change, one thing about Heupel that I would change is he figures out a way to use that kid this year sooner than later. I wonder if they don't go breakneck speed, if this allows them to sub wide receivers
have more
rotation. A little bit. Yes. It's a thought, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you think about it, that's when you're playing that game, and I'm not saying they're not still going to go fast. They're going to go fast. Tennessee's still going to go fast. Just not all the time. Just not all the time. They slowed it down last year. And they had a really good vertical passing game last year with Aguilar. Brian can you spell Jags without Ags? Is Aguilar going to make the team, or is he just had a good because this is UFL time. What we're seeing right now. Well, these are all the UFL players out here.
He had the longest pass completion of their preseason game against New Orleans the other day. 43-yard
Joey
pass
football.
That got him down inside for the game-winning touchdown.
Go!
And it was a legit pass. It wasn't where the receiver was covered pretty well and kind of had to stop, and he actually kind of fought for the ball a little bit. But Aguilar put it where he could get it. At least.
By the way, Vandy Dandy has entered the chat, which reminds me, Bino, it looks like the fifth-year senior down there is tracking to have an opportunity for the starting job. How shocked do you think those Vanderbilt people will be if they don't give the Golden Boy Curtis the ball right off the jump? This would be this kid they've got is a fifth-year player, the quarterback there, fifth-year player, 5 years in that system.
Yeah, I would think that they were really looking forward to having what some people said is the number one high school quarterback in the country.
Yes.
Start from like fans are always going to do. You know, that's who you're going to root for to be your quarterback because of the upside. But going up against a guy that's been in the system for 5 years, you're unlikely to get what you want. And probably what you want is not the right thing.
By the way, poor Vandy Dandy. Jared Allen's going to be sitting on the bench to start the year.
Josh Allen.
Hey, Tony, I've got some comparative numbers here.
Josh Allen, I'm sorry.
They're shocking. And
all right.
We talked about this past year, we had 16 punt returns.
Hey, Bino, stay there. Keep that thought. Bino's got empirical evidence. We get to that. It happens on the other side right after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Balls fans, this is linebacker Jaden Perlotti. When my family and friends need Tennessee gear, I tell them every time, Alumni Hall has it all. With 7 stores in Tennessee, you get the best selection of ball gear anywhere. Adidas, Peter Millar, Yeti, Owala, No Rivals, Tailgate Gear, and more. Shop in store, online, or download the Alumni Hall app. Whether you need to blitz or throw a touchdown, Alumni Hall will help you win. Alumni Hall, your ultimate ball shopping experience. And tell them Jaden sent you.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet.
Garza Law.
Fifth quarter fan reaction.
Fan reaction.
As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
One homestand remaining to see your Knoxville Smokies in action. That's it. The first week of September, your Smokies are home against the Chattanooga Lookouts. And we're closing out the season with amazing promotions every night. Taco Tuesday and All-You-Can-Eat Wednesday, less than $20 for tons of food and game tickets.
Nice.
Our final Thirsty Thursday, final fireworks show, and we end the season with our fan appreciation game. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm there to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face to face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign. 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to Boo.
Old Vandy Dandy over at YouTube, he's not taking it real well, the Curtis news. I just know that the other kid was ahead of him. Maybe they're trying to create some sort of pressure on him, but or maybe he's a bust. Bino had some breaking news for us. By the way, speaking of breaking news, before we get to Bino's empirical research on the fly, on this Monday edition, the AP poll is dropping, as Throaty reminded us today. And with the AP poll dropping, I will ask present company included, where will the Volunteers be in the Associated Press poll? Bino, what say you?
I'm going to say that Tennessee is 17th, Tony.
All right. You and I are singing off the same songbook there. How many Southeastern Conference teams will be ahead of the Volunteers in the first AP poll?
There will be 7 in front of Tennessee, Tony. Texas, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. So Tennessee may be closer to 20 than 17. I'm going to move them down to 20.
And so I'm kind of with the concept there. The Associated Press poll, I'm going to say that Tennessee's 14 in that poll, Bino. And 6 other SEC teams are in front of them. It's worth noting that last season, the first AP Top 25 poll listed every team that ended up making the playoffs. So this poll coming up was a survey you wanted to find yourself in last year. That means that nobody came from out of nowhere to make the playoffs last year. Everybody that made the playoffs was on the radar last year. Brian, what do you say the Vols will be in the first poll? How many SEC teams ahead of them?
I'll say 6 SEC teams ahead of them, and they'll be about 15.
All right.
Of the teams that I listed, who will not be in front of them from you and Brian?
It's just one of those great mysteries in life, Bino. Gonna be one of those great mysteries in life.
You know, I think a lot of that's done with the idea of a quarterback returning, and I think what Tennessee might be finding out is that they don't have a returning quarterback, and there's questions there. So those teams tend to get dropped a little bit.
That's fine.
But Alabama doesn't have a quarterback returning either.
Alabama's a sell for me all year. And Bino, I'm going to ask you in hour 2 once we see the poll. And by the way, here's what's crazy about the polls. It was not that long ago that this was the standings. The playoff goes back, what, about 15 years now? Is that right, guys?
2014 season.
Yeah. Not even 15 years. 12 years. Before that, you hadn't played a game. Think about how stupid this was. Which I loved, by the way. I loved the playoffs and the bowls. But you hadn't even played a game yet. And what these people were declaring, that and the coaches poll, were the standings. You were 2.5 weeks from kicking the ball off. That poll used to come out on a Saturday. And it was a big day, man, when the AP poll came out, Bino. Now it's just, well, okay, ho-hum. That's how crazy the sport was. And I loved it. I was so for it back then, it ain't even funny, man. And now it's just, it's kind of an indication that you sort of matter. You're mentioned in the Associated Press poll. Think about how cockamamie and silly that is, that represented the standings. Like if you're Tennessee and you have aspirations of something great and they show you today at 18th, you're like, man, we got work to do. We got work to do. We got to get up there. How crazy is that? Thinking about that, guys, in retrospect.
Well, yeah, it's less pressure.
What do you think, Bino?
I think the younger fans think what we watched was absurd.
Absurd. Gotta be. And then you would, at the end of the year, you'd have like 3 different fan bases putting their fingers up going, we're number one, which I loved. Look, I think the thing about college football that makes it so unique is it's a conversational sport, and we talk about it 365 and 24/7. All right, Bino, you were looking at the punts, and then we'll go to the phones, and we'll get some folks in on the High Noon hotline because it's noon somewhere. Our friends at High Noon, stock up. Football season is right around the corner, and it's time for you to stock up on some High Noon. And Beanstar, you were saying.
Well, we said, Tony, that last year that we returned 16 punts for 164 yards.
Okay.
25 years earlier, 2000, we returned 52 punts for 452 yards.
Please send that to me. That's really interesting.
And in fourth down conversions, I looked at several years back around 2000, and the general number of times you went for it in a season on fourth down was between 10 and 12. And we went for it 17 times last year on fourth down.
There you go. I was going to say. And really, in games that matter, you're going to go for it more. I would love to know the high-stress games, those are the ones you're really going for it on fourth down. There's no reason for me to go for it on fourth down when I'm playing directional schools. What's the point? Everybody needs to work. But, man, you get in that spot, I don't think I could ever forgive Butch Jones for what he did with that A&M game, as hard as that team played. What buffoon gets on the 1-foot line in overtime when his team's fought like hell? They have a 6-game winning streak out of nowhere. About to go to 7-0, Brian, and literally kicks an extra point from the 1-yard line. Who does that, Brian, besides him? Who in America would do that? A guy that talks so tough, but inside was a human budge.
Some messed up individual does that.
High Noon line of hard seltzer is always a winner. Let's go to the phones. On a winning kind of Monday, your Associated Press poll drops. We've got the Vols anywhere from 14 to 19. It's kind of what we're thinking. Our little survey in the nation. But the simple fact is nobody punts anymore. Tennessee's, I don't think, going to play as fast as they have in years past. You slowed it down last year. It's kind of an incremental thing. And is the day of the breakneck offense over? Has analytics showed these guys that what you're doing is you're spinning yourself into the ground playing too fast? Do you think? Is there such a thing as playing too fast? And Bino, how do you answer that? Is such a thing as playing too fast?
Yeah, I think there's such a thing as playing too fast, Tony. I kind of liked our up-tempo, go as quick as you can. But I understand the reason that you have to slow down some.
Back to the phones we go. By the way, Josh Heupel's address to the students that Tennessee published was really cool. It leads me to wonder this aloud. Why doesn't he act like that at press conferences and just show his fans just a little something, what he showed the students the other day? That side of him. I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. And then I would take the press conferences. Let's go back to the phones. And we'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Hello and welcome in. You are on our Monday edition.
How are my friends compatriots doing today?
W. Lynn, welcome in.
Tony, I'd like to address first the punting issue and then first the kickoff issue and then some punting stuff. One difference in the college and the NFL game is if you kick it in the end zone in college, it comes out to the 30. Mm-hmm. If you kick it in the end zone in the NFL, it comes out to the 35, which I think might increase and the college coaches don't want to change that because I learned from the NFL Network and one of my history professors in 1985, coaches don't like to have added decisions. That's why when the NFL started, they decided not to have the 2-point conversion. The coaches did not want something else on their table they had to worry about. And think how long it took us to get the 2-point conversion in the NFL.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for the USFL, I'm not sure they would have done it. That and replay, those are the two things that the USFL gave the NFL.
So those college coaches, they just love kicking it in the end zone. They say the 30 is not so bad. You bring it out to the 35, they'd think different. You bring it out to the 40, they'd think real different.
No question.
But that'd be the only way that you're going to change that. As far as punting goes, something I used to love that I don't know why we don't do it more today.
And by the way, college ball comes at a 25 W limit. But go ahead. You're right. Continue.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 25.
Yeah,
which makes it even worse.
Yeah, your thought remains. Continue.
Yeah, it makes it even worse.
I'm kicking it. In other words, I'm telling my guy, get up over the ball and kick it out of the end zone, which is why we don't see kickoffs anymore. Stay right there, W. Lynn. Let me keep it live and legal. Stay right there.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Continue. Go ahead, W. Lynn.
That's something I used to love, and we had Andy Kelly at quarterback, and I don't know why we don't see it more. When we had the ball between our 40s, I don't care if it was our 40 or their 40 or near midfield. If it was fourth down, it didn't matter if it was 3, 5 yards, whatever. We would line up like we're running a play, like we're going for it, and Andy Kelly would be in shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
He'd step 2 steps back and just pooch kick it. And most of the time we got it inside their 10 because they had to line up in a normal defense. I don't see why we don't see that more on fourth down near midfield.
Bino, why is that? Teams just they're you don't see that anymore at all. I guess very few quarterbacks can do it, Bino, but that doesn't make any sense.
I just think it's the specialization of things, Tony. It's like that was the punt, pass, and kick era where, the best athletes went out and did all of those things or a lot of those things.
That's true.
And they're a quarterback when they're 5 years old.
That's a really good point. And I don't want to injure my leg kicking because I'm the prodigy now. I'm my family's meal ticket, so to speak.
But most of y'all, I played football. Anybody knows that you can just kick a crummy kick, and if they're in a normal defense, it's going to hit and probably roll toward the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
But they probably don't want to risk it. But another thing that you never see. I think it was 85, the game we won 16-14. I mean, it was 3rd and like 18 at our own 15-yard line at Legion Field against Alabama. Ain't no way we're making a first down. And I think Daryl Dickey might have been the quarterback by then. I can't remember, Bino. You might. We ran Colquitt.
If you
in there
don't,
like
I don't.
We ran Colquitt in there like he was a tailback, dropped back, and quick kicked the thing 75 yards all the way down to the Alabama 10.
Yep. Johnny loved kicking on 3rd down.
But
Awful.
I mean, it was 3rd, and we ain't gonna make it.
Just
that day.
horrendous.
And
Just
you know,
horrendous
sometimes
football.
when it's 3rd and 30, why don't they do that?
No offense to you, but that's horrendous football.
Well, if the defense is out there not knowing you're going to, what you're doing, it's 3rd down.
It's horrendous to give the ball away on 3rd down. Makes no
Well,
sense.
but if it's 3rd and ain't no way you're going to make it.
Lynn, how many no ways have we had a guy come up and grab somebody by the face mask and put him on the ground? We've had so many ways in the last couple of years where that's happened. Come on now.
You're right. But
I'm not giving my play away on 3rd down. That is, I mean, what are we in the 1920s? I mean, come on.
No, we're not quite. That was 1980s, Tony.
Well, that was playing like you're in the 1920s. Bino, am I right or wrong on that? You don't give the ball away on 3rd down.
Win that game.
Oh,
it helped us win.
Come on.
It went down to their 10.
Majors love that stuff. Come on.
There were things, Tony, that I cheered in those days. That was probably one of them. If we ever quick kick, I'm leaving the stadium.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you for saying that.
I'm quitting. If we
that's
quit, I
that's
quit.
An oldie goldie. But
in light of what we know about the sport now, none of those guys would have quick kicked. The science of the game, none of those guys would quick kick.
Oh, I know it. I know, guys. But it's funny. The history professor, I was in the history of American sports in 1985. I'd already graduated, and I was doing postgraduate work in history and sport. I was in there with Charles Davis and, who was the big Charles Upton, Todd Upton, guy from Alcoa that never played. And we had Pat Summitt and Doug Atkins as guest speakers. And myself and Charles Davis raised our hand and answered more questions than any two people in the class. And I knew Charles Davis was going to be great at whatever he did.
Go!
But that's the only history class I got to be in my life, the history of American sports.
Damn it.
And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
After we made the road trip to Florida, which we lost that 17-10 game, we had a quiz that Monday, which I didn't get out of bed in time for.
And
then the Monday
sacrifices had to be made, W. Lynn.
And then the Monday after the Alabama game in 85, which we won 16-14, we had to write a paper on a book we were supposed to read, the Jackie Robinson story. I did like Beaver Cleaver on Sunday night and watched it on the movie on TV and wrote my paper on the movie.
W. Lynn, you're the man. Unbelievable. The top 25 poll is out. I'm going to read to you the top 25. See if you can tell me who's missing. Let's get to some of these people that are missing. This would be great radio. Wish John Adams was here for this, Brian. Missouri, 25. Louisville, 24. Houston, 23. Iowa, 22. Utah, 21. Tennessee, number 20. SMU, 19. Penn State, 18. Washington, 17. Michigan, 16. USC, 14. Who's 15? Oh, BYU's 14. So we have two teams at 14. We have a dead heat at 14. You mean tell me they couldn't put one at 15?
We have a tie.
You mean tell me you couldn't put one at 14 and one at 15? It means that much. How sanctimonious
for 14th place.
How sanctimonious is the AP? Let's go back to our phones, and then we'll get to the other 13 teams, unless there's 15 teams tied for 13th. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Steve, and Jasper.
Hey, Steve and Jasper. Welcome in.
How you doing? I had I actually had one thing that I was going to talk about when I called, and now I've got three real quick.
Yes.
I'm still giddy over the DGG signing, especially, and I wanted to mention what, Eric Westmoreland is a assistant coach over there at Baylor, where DGG is, and also, I guess, an administrator well thought of over there. And they asked him who he thought he would compare to, and he said, as a freshman, Adrian Peterson or Jamal Lewis.
Woo!
And Eric was a good runner himself in high school. He played over here in Jasper.
Love me some Emo, man. What a great guy. Awesome
he's
guy.
A great guy.
Awesome guy.
And he could, when they pitched the ball to him, you could tell lots of times when the ball got to his hands before it even got there that this is going to be a touchdown.
He came in the era of when Tennessee would take those great running backs and convert them into linebackers.
Yeah. Looking
Bunch
at
of
his
those
size
guys,
at Tennessee, you would have never thought he was running back.
You imagine him at running back in high school being star, trying to get that kid on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, he used speed then, but he they turned him into a linebacker. But the thing I wanted to say about that was that he was doing that against competition that was not, they played some good teams at their level, but sometimes now DGG gets a lot of his yards, running through the center of the line, just overpowers people. But sometimes out there on that corner, every once in a while, he'll get one. And as soon as he gets the ball, you say, there he goes. And he's doing that against some really, the top teams in the state, so.
Well, the thing I love about playing the tape forward to next year, the things we're hearing about this quarterback is all indications are he's a physical freak. So you're going to have two physical freaks next year to contend with when you play the Volunteers.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Yep.
And Bino, I just a personal message to Bino. George told me the story about you riding to the hospital with the Georgia fans, which you probably told on here before, and I'd never heard it. And so the third thing I want to say is how old school I am, and now I agree the quick kick is dead now.
It's idiotic.
It's dead. Well, it is now because there's so many ways to get a first down by just throwing the ball downfield and getting
pass interference,
a hit to the head of the quarterback, etc. And you can't do it now either because you got 30 people on the other side of the field, in the booth up there, knowing everybody on your team. As soon as you send the punter in on third down, they're going to call down there and say, call timeout, and you won't really never get it off. But I saw some great plays. One that was great in 1988 at Nashville when the wind versus Vandy, the wind was blowing really hard straight down the field, and Vandy had Tennessee backed up the whole first half. And Tennessee was back on their own goal line, and Johnny sneaked in the punter between two really big guys, and three guys ran off the field. Next thing you know, that punter kicked the ball. It bounced once at about the 40, and it didn't stop until it was down there at the Vandy 10, and it completely changed the game. So, I wish it were a thing in football still, but I understand why it can't be. I think I've only seen maybe 3 or so ever in Tennessee. So anyway,
isn't that fun?
was it.
I remember Randall Cunningham quick kicked the ball 78 yards one time. You remember that, guys? He was such a freak with my Eagles.
Like we talked earlier, the game is just different today than it was then. You did those things then. Today, you just can't do it.
BYU 14, Alabama 13, Texas Tech 12, LSU 11, Oklahoma 10, Ole Miss 9, A&M 8, Miami 7, Indiana 6, Texas number 5, Notre Dame 4, Georgie Asphalt 3, Georgie Pines 3, Oregon number 2, and Ohio State 1. Brian, count them up by conference for us, if you don't mind. And here's who's not in the survey, and then we go back to the phones. The number 26 team in the land, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together, meet and greet. The number 26 band in the land, Paul Stanley. Your Clemson Tigers. Now, you want to talk about something that's gone the way of the quick kick, Bino, in this era we're in right now.
Wow.
And the punt. How about the Clemson Tigers coming in at number 26 out of the Atlantic Coast Conference? You talk about a path of least resistance league. Let me give you another one. Florida Gators come in at 27. Where is Gilligan? Boise State has come in at number 28. Arizona 29. TCU with all that money, how hot they were at one time. 30. Navy 31. South Carolina, many people think could beat the Vols. 32. Tennessee's bowl opponent from last year, Illinois, 33. Oklahoma State, 34. Vanderbilt, 35. Pitt, 36. Virginia Tech, 37. And a couple of other names of local interest. Georgia Tech is 38. It looks like Auburn got 3 votes in this. I guess that makes them like 40. So there you have it, sports fans. That is your AP top 25. Virginia got a vote. Tulane got a vote. Western Michigan got a vote. Liberty got a vote. Glad to see Jamie Chadwell voting for himself. And Florida's Florida Gators, come in at 27 in the survey. A year they're off our schedule.
Did you see where South Carolina lost 2 receivers over the weekend?
Oh, man, I hate to see that.
That they're counting on. By the way, the SEC has 9 teams of those, and the Big Ten has 8, by my count.
17 of the 25. They're not controlling the sport or anything, are they, Bino?
It's their sport now, Tony. Yeah, they're running the sport. So Tennessee's at 20.
Yep.
With how many SEC teams ahead of them?
Ooh, great question. Looks like there's only 1 behind them. So how many did you say were there?
That would be 7. Well, if there's 9 total, there'd be 7 ahead of them.
So you nailed it, Bino.
Boom.
Boom.
What does that pay, Tony?
I like it. Generally, I'm going to double your appearance fee.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Daniel Webb asked a great question. Why are the big conferences letting Notre Dame still run things? Somewhere in there, it's got to all be about money, right, Daniel? And somewhere in there, that Notre Dame brand's got to be bigger and more powerful than we think it is, because it's not about winning. because they're getting ready to celebrate in a couple of years the 40th anniversary of their last national championship. And if you put it in terms just this time space continuum that we're in, just the whole concept of, think about this for a second. I believe their last national championship, Bri, was what, 90? 89?
1988. 88 was their last.
All right. So, because they lost to Colorado, that's right. 88. It's 38 years ago already. If you go back 38 years from 1988, what year are you at, guys? 1950? Think about how long.
Yeah.
Think about how long that is. Think about that for a second, Bino. Notre Dame has not taken a drink from the big chalice. When they won it in 88, that had been like 1950 till 88. And the last time Notre Dame got on the big stage, they literally got eviscerated by Alabama. I mean, TCU thinks they got eviscerated. Think about that. And we're letting them run things. We're literally letting them run things. And the last national championship Notre Dame won, they played West Virginia for the national championship, and a freak of nature known as Major Harris, who was a really cool college player. Do we all agree on that? Really cool college quarterback. Really fun. Type of player you would not find in the NFL back then. And probably today you still wouldn't find that kind of player in the NFL. But he was so fun in college. As we go back to the phones. 865-200-5402 is the numero dos. Back to our phone said, yeah, about like 1998 to 2028. No, not really. If you want to add 8 more years to that, it's about like that.
Add 10 more years to that.
Yeah, it's about like that. If you want to be that myopic, make it all about the Vols, I mean, more power to you. But I'll tell you this. They don't set their watch by us. They don't let us have our own rules like they do this Notre Dame bunch. And for the life of me, I don't get it. For the life of me, I don't understand it. A lot of times when Notre Dame's on NBC, guys, I'll forget it's on. Do you all join me in that? Like, I'll forget their games are on sometimes.
There's just so many other games. It's right on during a window where there's just so many more other interesting games on.
And especially this year.
I did pay more attention to them maybe 2 years ago.
But especially this year with that schedule they have. Hey, Bino, send me that stuff on the punting, would you? And Bryce, send me a breakdown on the AP poll if you don't mind. That stuff on the punting is really interesting. And we'll have to watch and see if Heupel goes slower this year, noticeably slower. Do they slow it down? For Jim Knowles' defense, you don't get over a ball. You don't have to snap a ball just to snap a ball. See, I think that's better football, too. I think that's more sound. The one thing early in the Heupel era that drove me crazy is you're trying to protect a lead. Don't snap a ball till you have to snap a ball. I get you want to go fast back then. Everybody wants to go fast. There's such a thing as spinning yourself into the ground, though. But I digress. Let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
I'm on.
Boy, Billy, not only are you on the high noon phone lines, but your playing card of yourself. Bino, what did you think of the playing card that Boy Billy shared with us?
Oh, it was fantastic. It took me a second to understand what we had there.
Boy, Billy, can I publish that tomorrow in the blog with your? Can I publish that tomorrow in the blog with your permission?
I need to keep my identity safe for now.
So should I? Okay, can I ask you this? If I do one of those things where we put a little scrub over your face,
good to go.
But we have okay.
Hey, Bean Comment, how'd you hit it this weekend? Hit long and straight? What are we talking?
I hit it fairly well this weekend, Boy Billy. You never know. It goes from weekend to weekend.
Love it. Hey, Tone, talk to me, guy. I got a little bit of anxious nerves in me. Man, we had that one defensive back had that upper body injury, lifting weights or something in the summer.
Yeah.
Then we got that linebacker out for the year. Then we got this, Farouk guy we was counting on. And then our boy Spaz Coleman pulled the Houdini act.
Right.
And, I'm just wondering how much more do we need to have injuries before we actually start getting worried? Because I watched some Mendoza highlights the other day. And second down at Georgia Tech looks pretty good. And I already know our freak guy is going to be out for that Georgia Tech game.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, are we going to be running thin out there in Atlanta? What are we talking about?
Shout out to you for working in freak into the conversation. About Aaron Carter, who had an interception of GMAC over the weekend that he took back. Here's the thing. The question is, you're at your limit right now, would be my answer. Look, I know the linebacking core. I know the linebacking core is deep. That's it. You can't afford any more injuries there. And at safety, you are down right now. You cannot afford another injury there till you're in trouble. So your point is well taken. And another thing about the practice the other day, or the scrimmage the other day, is our DBs were not good in that. We're not good in that scrimmage. They just weren't. So, and look, again, I'm back to this. The wide receivers had a great day the other day against the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4, you name it. The wide receivers ruled the day the other day. And that's a little different than what you usually see early this time of the year. I think these guys are still learning the system. I think it's all a part of growing pains. I think it's all a part of, you got to crawl before you can walk. You got to get out there and play football. And Orange Throat wondered today, in light of what you're talking about, do they pare it back and not go with as much contact going forward in light of the Carter news, which is silly, the Coleman thing, which is silly, but then the injuries that are starting to kind of happen here? Do you dial it back? What do you say, Boy Billy? You dial it back? You're the one with the bubblegum card that's graded a 10 from your high school days at Farragut, where you are rising. Hey, who was your head coach at Farragut?
Don Dodgen.
There you go, the great Don Dodgen. Yep.
Oh, yeah. My concern, I just, I pay attention to sports. You never make it through a whole year, it seems, without some kind of secondary guy tearing an ACL or something.
Mm-hmm.
You hate to think of it, but, it just seems like it happens every year to every team almost somewhere. And then, just the wear and tear of the football team. And you hear all this talk about this new defensive coordinator and how complex the scheme is. If we're missing legitimately by the mid-season, we could be missing 5-6 guys we was counting on, and defense wasn't that great last year. But, I just got me nervous, Tom. Just got me a little nervous, you know what I'm
saying? Brian Bino, is he rightfully nervous or no? Because that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a little nervous with the defense.
Yeah, I said there's plenty of room for concern because of how they performed last year.
That's my point.
And the injuries that we've seen to this point this year. Absolutely. Until we see it, there's going to be a concern there.
That's kind of my point. And look, and I
do think we've got a little cushion here because I don't believe we're going to see anyone with as good offense as we've got until they get to Texas.
That's correct.
And we'll be back a little bit more full strength hopefully by the time we get to Texas than we are in these first 3 games.
And I hope I don't eat my words here, but if Mendoza was all that in a bag of chips, the guys at Indiana that really know what they're doing would have hitched their wagon to him, and they didn't. They let him walk. But we'll see. It doesn't mean he can't play, though. Doesn't mean he can't play.
Yeah, I watched the highlights. I mean, he's serviceable, man. I mean, he's playing against some of them backup teams and this, that, and the other when they're blowing him out. But, I mean, he ran the offense. He knew what he was doing. And, he ain't got to be a Heisman Trophy winner at Georgia Tech. He just got to be pretty good,
Oh, yeah. And look, there's going to be so many, as we know from watching early season football anyway, it's so choppy because really it doesn't round into form until like week 4 when you see Texas, like Bino's talking about. That's kind of when this stuff starts to get real. And for those of us that like to follow it by the numbers and the gambling, and that's when the lines start getting a little tighter. Because really, we don't know what these teams have and won't know. It's like opening a present sometimes and, your parents forgot the batteries or Santa Claus forgot to bring the batteries, It's kind of a bummer.
Hey, tell my last point, man. Yeah. The more I think about this Georgia Tech game, I think it's going to be a big game when you're looking at $400 nosebleeds for a lot of the good games in Neyland, and then you look at that little drive, and you look at a 50,000 seat stadium. So if you get a nosebleed there, it's kind of almost like a lower level in Neyland, and you're looking at a $200 ticket, $225. I think they're going to fill that game out, man. I think it's going to be a lot of orange in that stadium. You know what I'm saying?
Billy, it's going to be a really, really, really beautiful night for college football on that Saturday night. Everybody wins when you play those games in the stadiums where they belong and not in that sterile Mercedes-Benz dome. Everybody wins. You play that game outside. You play that game in the elements. I don't care if it's in a torrential downpour. Everybody wins by playing that game at night. It's going to be a beautiful sight to see.
This might sound a little bit weird, but
yeah,
I think it's more interesting playing that game in Grant Field than it would be in Neyland.
I agree with that.
Just because of the Tennessee fans that will go down there and make it kind of feel like a home game.
I agree, Brian. And it's in a warped down stadium too. A 50,000 seat old school stadium. You're exactly right. And boy, Billy, on the way out here, you make your living buying and selling. What's been your best acquisition here in the last little bit?
I'm trying to do the reverse of it. I'm trying to unload a little bit, but I'm always working a little something, man. But on my way out, Tone,
when it comes to those you love, it all starts with natural gas.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I was telling Laura that last night after I had the nachos. 865. So last night we played down at Calhoun's Marina in beautiful Lenoir City. When we started, I asked the gal working behind the bar island out there, I said, is this as hot as it's been this summer? She said, the air's not moving. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good observation. I'm not a sweater. I was sweating like a champion last night. Lance is a sweater. I looked over at Lance, and he had puddles. The poor guy. I was afraid he was going to get electrocuted. Playing an instrument plugged in. Go! Bino, how do you guys do that? Who's the oldest person that plays with y'all, Bino?
We have one older than me, Tony. He's 73.
Out there in that heat.
Yes. And most everybody within a couple of years of 70. So we were blessed to come out of that one.
Bino, here's
the
question for you for the upcoming season. Look down at that schedule, and we're going to get another call in, but I want you to tell me who the Desert Island game is for you. Now, this is interesting. I would have thought Friday when we did this that a lot of people would have said Texas, 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 Texas. Hardly anybody said Texas. The one game you're looking most forward to, one of the winners was that Georgia Tech game. And I think one of the reasons is that because they kept it there, because it harkens to a great intersectional rivalry at one time. It's going to be a challenge for our young quarterbacks, and it's going to be kind of a beautiful game to see. You can go on YouTube and watch the games from the mid-'80s when Tennessee played there. Georgia Tech played here. It's a very cool, very neat, intersectional, interregional sort of thing that we're renewing this. And the time it falls and when it falls and how it falls with a true freshman quarterback at quarterback is, I think only adds to the intrigue. But let's go to the phones. I want you to think about that, Beanstar. And if you couldn't get in on Friday and you have the one game, I was proud of a couple people that mentioned Auburn. Damn it, I love that Auburn series. I love Tennessee and Auburn playing football. Something feels right in the world when Tennessee and Auburn play. Now, my game was Alabama this year. And the reason it's Alabama is I'm glad that Tennessee's gotten back to equal footing with them. I think Tennessee's about to pass them as a program, is my expectation. Tennessee should pass them. They have more money. And for some reason, Alabama tied themselves to a coach that doesn't fit there. After getting literally decapitated on the football field by Indiana. And I mean decleated and decapitated. And Brian, what happened to them in the SEC championship game?
They got mauled by Georgia.
Okay,
and they did go to Oklahoma and win a playoff game.
Okay.
But
2 of the last 3 times they took the field last year were maul jobs.
If you'll remember, Oklahoma had like a 10-point lead, and then I think they threw a pick 6 right before halftime and turned that game around.
Yeah, Oklahoma was fixing to absolutely maul them. That's a great stick by you, Bri. One of the more silly plays of the college football season last year was that ball thrown in the middle of the field. Now, Oklahoma's quarterback tells us, hey, my hand is healed. I'm better. You buying or selling or trading, Bino, that kid a quarterback. He does some goofy things.
Mateer?
Yeah.
I think he played injured most of the year last year, Tony, I'm buying him this year.
He does some goofy things. He did goofy things against us. He does goofy things. He's a damn gamer, though, and a winner. He got them to the playoffs last year. We thought their coach was going to get fired. I call that money well spent, but that was a crazy play in that playoff game. The spot where they're, what are you doing there? What are you doing? You're up 10. Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Holtz Claw gas can, Jay.
Well, you got a Holtz Claw gas can in there. I haven't heard that in a while. Harkening back to I guess that's when Shamiqua and her lover were having a quarrel, Bri. Did she put the gas can in the car and shoot into the car, Bri, or am I imagining that? We have a street named after her.
A car didn't survive that incident. I don't think.
Which goes back to this. I'm so glad we've gotten out of the business of naming streets after people, like Volopoli over there. The T. Martin overpass might have been the one that kind of put me over the top. Holtz Claw gas can.
They certainly didn't name a street after T. Martin based on the coaching stint.
Mm-hmm. This Timothy McGee guy, I don't know where this dude comes from, but is he real? Is he not? Is he doing a bit, Bino, over here? Here's what he just said. Hey, Nick, I think it's funny how the miserable fans like Tony Basilio and all the other negative Nancys move the post on every SEC team and ACC team, etc., when we beat them. What does that even mean? Like, what are you guys talking about? What are we doing? What are you talking about? Now, Goes to Dr. Oz had a good line earlier. Bowl games only matter to our fan base when you lose them. I think that's the truth with bowl games. Bowl games only matter when you lose them. Because when you win them, you go, oh, that team we played sucked. And it's just an exhibition game anyway. But when you lose them, it pisses you off. I'm to the point now with bowl games where none of them matter. I think they're fun. I think they're a reward for the kids. They're almost getting to the point, where I don't think it's worth having a Garza Law fifth quarter fan reaction after a bowl game. I'm almost evolving to that. Am I wrong, guys?
Tony, you have a post game after we play Alabama A&M in basketball. You're dang sure going to have one after a bowl game.
I just wanted to see if I could trigger Beanstar. And I succeeded. When we come back on the other side, we're going to get into asking Bino what his Desert Island game is. And we'll get some more calls in. We roll it on back. Tennessee number 20 in the inaugural Associated Press poll. And Brian, what are they in the coaches poll?
I think they're 17th. The coaches polls had them higher than the AP for some reason. That's been consistent.
Yep. The coaches like Heupel. Continue with more on the other side right after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles, between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. Like our 2026 football Vol, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's premium vodka, T3, Tennessee's premium vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved, and will go the extra mile for you, because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
Tony B back with you, 865-200-5402. Somebody brought up a great topic in here that would be a fun thing to talk about. Davey Boy, who are the two most overrated coaches in the SEC right now? You know, I wouldn't mind getting into that tomorrow with the great John Adams. I want you to think about that between now and tomorrow. And then who are the two most underrated coaches in the league? I think Heupel's among the underrated coaches. Kind of never gets talked about. Does a solid job every year. I think he's among the underrated coaches. Bino, what's your desert island? If you could pull one game off that schedule, and it's the one you're most looking forward to, and the reasons why. And by the way, 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt in the mix with us on a day where we've been talking about Tennessee scrimmage over the weekend where the offense was really good. And the defense has work it's got to do. And the receivers had a great day. And Faison Brandon, I don't want to say that he's that he's put a lock on the quarterback job because these guys are young kids and who knows, but he's pretty much locked up the first team job. And the Associated Press polls out. And the Vols are number 20. And there are 7 SEC teams ahead of them. Incidentally, Jim Knowles' ex-club, Penn State, comes in at 18, though they have 1 million new players. I don't know how... Guys, before being able to get to your Desert Island game, how do we quantify any of this stuff? Penn State's got like 60 new players. How are they number 18 in America? They've got Iowa State's football team.
Yeah, Tony, I just think it's more and more difficult to project what kind of team you've got because there's not a lot of last year that's still there at most of these places anymore. So, yeah, extremely hard harder than ever.
Yep. Polls, yeah.
Correctly rank someone before they take the field.
And yet, this same poll last year got all 12, including the group of 5 team. Brian, are there any G5s in this thing? In the top 25?
No, there's just Notre Dame, and you've got 4 Big 12 and 3 ACC, 9 SEC, and 8 Big 10.
9 and 8. And if you look at the projected first-round draft picks this year, it's about split right down the middle, just depending on the surveys you look at. So, favorite thing about this era is no more super teams. Very good teams now. No more super teams at the top. Although Ohio State a couple years ago, Tony, was pretty damn good. Of course, that had to be the year we played them. Come to think about it, they were super. I'm going to stop myself there. Come to think about it, they were pretty damn good. Beanstar?
Indiana was a super team last year.
Indiana was pretty good. They were pretty good. They were very good. Beanstar? Lay it on me. Your Desert Island game of the year and the reasons why.
First, Tony, I'm happy to hear that the answers were so diverse. And I agree with the reasoning behind a lot of those. You know, I grew up in a time where really the measurement for Tennessee was Alabama and Auburn. And Auburn was always in the slot where we got accustomed. Most younger fans were accustomed to Florida being on our schedule. And that was the first real test that you saw. And you measured yourself by how you performed in that game, and then later in the season, Alabama, and also at a time when Georgia Tech was a regular on our schedule. So I totally understand people pointing toward those games coming back on our schedule. Generally speaking, in an even number year when Alabama's coming here, Alabama is always going to be my choice, but it's not this year. And it's just because Texas is on there for the very first time in my lifetime. And I've been wanting to play them again since New Year's Day 1970 or 1969, I guess it was. I got one of those two. When they played us in a Cotton Bowl, that was just, you know, two traditionally rich programs that rarely played each other and never have since. So I'm really looking forward to Texas coming in to Neyland Stadium. It's just something I've longed to see, and I'm going to get that opportunity this year. So that would be my game.
It's going to be a really supercharged atmosphere that week. There will be, when we're at Calhoun's, something really special in the air that day. There is little doubt that Texas game is going to feel tremendously significant. Tennessee is able to defeat Georgia Tech. That's going to feel like a signature football game all week. What are we right now, guys? 5 weeks out from that game? Is that what it is, Brian? About 5 as we sit here?
I believe it's 6, Tone, but yeah, right at it.
I'm right now. I'm lukewarm on the Vols' chances in that game. Sort of feel like that's going to be. It's just me. I sort of feel like that's going to be about a 10-point loss for the Vols. Now, by the time we get there, and like 6 weeks ago, I had Uncle Peyton changing jerseys at halftime and the Vols rolling them. So, I mean, don't worry. I'm going to practice party discipline when the time comes. Why was I, Bino, so high on that game now? And then all of a sudden we get kind of closer to it. And I'm like, their roster and our roster. They got a fourth-year quarterback. We got a true freshman quarterback. You know, line play is going to matter. You know, I'm just kind of – it's fun, though. It's fun in July to talk about it. Now that we're getting a little closer to it, I'm not feeling so good. 40 days out, so a little over 5 weeks. Why is that, Bino?
Tony, I don't know. I think you would probably have to answer that on your set for yourself. I have no idea why you're swaying in the wind that way. Other than the fact that I gave you like a white flag 10 years ago, so I don't think that's terribly out of character. What do we have? Phil Steele said Tennessee would be about a 4-point dog in that one.
That's right.
If he were laying the line. So, Tony, I think a disservice was done to that game putting it at noon. But
yeah,
I just think the newness of that thing and how much it's going to mean. I think it's going to be electric over there if they played it at 2 a.m. I don't think it would make any difference just because of how unique that is and how much it's the first Southeastern Conference game. And Obviously you would have to favor Texas, but I'm certainly not throwing out any chance Tennessee has to win that football game.
You mean the noonness of that game, which I thought
noonness. The noonness.
Mm-hmm. Well, the noonness of that game to me gives Tennessee hope, because you're going to ambush an opponent. It's 11 a.m. their time. You get a real opportunity for Tennessee to start fast, get the stadium on your side. You close your eyes and you think about that. You've got, and here's my hope. I hope Arch Manning flops this year. Now, I know it's going to surprise some people.
Yeah, you've always been such a family supporter.
I just get so sick of them. My God, they're so overexposed. The noonness of the game, the high noon hotline noonness of the game gives me hope, because
it's a good point.
And it feels like Heupel's teams perform pretty well in that time slot. They just do. And let's get it over with, man. Let's get it on. It's going to be, now I don't understand why the game is not played at night.
It feels like the Pitt game in 2021 does.
Yeah, bro.
Where you're playing early in the season at home at noon, and you're probably not the better team and you're a slight underdog.
Yeah. And
it's
you
got
have
that feel to me.
But here's the difference, Bri. When Pitt came in, you're going to play before a crowd that's going to be into it because it's college football and it's the Vols and it's an intersectional game, but nowhere near the fervor that the 12th individual is going to generate. The 12th individual. And yes, Butch Jones did have something in his office that said the 12th individual. So you don't have anywhere near what the 12th individual is going to generate. And I agree with Bino. The atmosphere in that place is totally electric. Here's the other thing about Texas. If you look at Texas's reputation versus their output and who they really are, Texas is kind of a popcorn fart in the last 30 years in college football. They got the one national championship. Not a lot of accomplishments for who they're supposed to be. They have moments like this in their history where they will gag in Neyland Stadium. That's kind of it's kind of who they've been. The playbook William Pattison on the way next. We'll kick it around here on our overtime.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Here's my thing. When you talk about that game, we beat Georgia Tech with the pretty good seats you have, Bino. You could sell your tickets for a small car payment at that point, or down payment on an automobile. That will be, and if they beat Ohio State to start the year, when their fans come up here and they're smelling blood, that's going to be electric. My hope is that Ohio State, for the second straight year, kind of kicks the moorings out from under them. And they have
that'd be 3 straight years that they beat them.
There you go. 3 straight years.
The playoff in 24, they beat them.
Mm-hmm. But the significance of what happened to them last year was they got stymied by Ohio State and they never recovered. Ohio State got stymied by Texas, but Texas was able to win the game and grow into the season. I mean, imagine Texas with the payroll they had last year not making the damn playoff. How do you do that? How do you freaking do that, man? Their history, okay? Their history, not our history, their history. Go back and look at it. Look at how little they've accomplished for all the money they've spent down through the years. Texas and Texas A&M, man, I'm telling you. That A&M bunch last year, how they did what they did. How were they in a spot to do what they did last year, Bino, and peter down the stretch like that? And then let somebody come into their building, Miami come into their building and beat them last year. How do you do that if you're A&M? Both of those programs.
Yeah, I think that A&M's got the right guy now, Tony. And last year was unlike years in the past, where at least wise they took enough opportunity to get into a playoff situation. So I think I think Elko's enough to kind of take them over the top to where they'll be pretty solid as long as he's there, with their treasure chest and him as their head coach. So they've moved up a little bit on the ladder for me.
He's a great coach. Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, he's a great coach.
Texas, they're supposed to have the guy that takes them to the heights. So we'll see.
Tomorrow we're going to do 3 overrated, 3 underrated. Bino, snapshot. Who are 3 overrated coaches in the league? I think one of them's at Texas, by the way.
Well, I said in that little thing that I put together that I don't think that I'm not sure what Sarkisian's done to have been head coach at Washington, USC, and Texas. He's obviously a good football coach, but I'm not sure he's accomplished enough that he should have had 3 jobs at that level. I love Lane Kiffin, but he's never won a thing that I remember. Yet he's ranked among the top coaches in America. So there's a couple of overrated ones.
Those are 3 very good overrated coaches. I wonder if John Adams is going to like that tomorrow. That can you send that to me for the blog too tomorrow? Because I want to have some fun with that. I think Josh Heupel's one of the underrated coaches in the league. Now I don't know why he is. Maybe it's that he's just so invisible in the media. Doesn't do the social media thing. But he's done a really quietly.
What about
a really nice job here?
Eli Drakewitz, overrated.
You could put him there. But you're going to hold yours for tomorrow, Brian.
And and Tony, I think both of those guys are really good football coaches. And, I would, if I had an opening, those would be guys that I would consider giving the job to. I just think that Lane Kiffin gets more attention than his resume suggests he should.
I don't know. I don't know what to say in terms of some of these guys. The media loves them because they take the time to talk to the media. And that's how the media works. You make yourself available, you're going to get the clippings and the press. That's why Lane Kiffin's a smart guy. Lane Kiffin's highly accessible to everybody. The year he was here, he was almost a couple times. He's highly accessible. There's no now he almost needs a buffer sort of for himself. He's almost too far in that direction. But I think that helps him with the press, Bino, and I think it helps him be overrated. And Sarkisian and him, incidentally, were both in that room at USC under Pete Carroll when allegedly the late, great Al Davis went to one who turned him down, and then he went to the other. Or Sarkisian would also have the Raiders on his CV, Beanstar, which is sort of unbelievable. If you believe the old story, that he went to one and one said no, and he went down the hall and got Lane Kiffin. I don't know if I believe that or not, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think they're both. I would rank both of them in the top 4 coaches in this league. I just think it's I think that's a hard exercise. As far as underrated, the only one that I can really come up with I think Elko's underrated.
He's very good.
Throughout the nation. We'll see. We'll see going forward if that's true.
Nick Jackson's got a good point. Heupel, you can make the case, is underrated because half the fans hate him. Heupel's getting to that point, though, Nick, in his tenure, where you better win. Like something. You better get in the playoffs and win a game or two. Very soon. Doesn't be this year. But if they go in the next season, like let's say this year you have the 8-4 year that I think the Vols are going to have. Miss playoff, playing a bowl game, yada, yada, yada. Then you get DGG in here. Next year you have to rebuild your offensive line. Probably rebuild some of your defense. Everybody's got to rebuild. But next season, you don't make the playoffs with all that young, really burgeoning talent on your roster. There's a chance he gets the Iggy. That could happen. Because the boosters, the billionaires, they're not paying $50 million to go play in a bowl game or to go to the playoffs and get smoked. And that is what that payroll is going to be next year. It's going to be around $50 million. Tony, how do you know that? These things don't go down. And until there's a collective bargaining agreement, again, people laughed at me when I said Tennessee was willing to go to 20, 25 million in basketball, and they're like 19 or 20 million. And they didn't get the kid from Vanderbilt that they wanted, and they offered him 6. So you do the math. But Tennessee wasn't even one of the big spenders in the league. Tennessee right now, and I got to track this down, but I believe they're probably in basketball right now, probably 4th or 5th in expenditures. Texas has spent a ton of money. Kentucky has spent a piss pot full of money for some reason. And there are a couple other teams in the league that are spending like it's doomsday. So we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do the underrated and overrated and kind of argue and fight it out.
Tony, I'm not. I try not to be the hypo cut man that I've been since he got here, just simply because I appreciate that I was, because I appreciated how quickly he pulled us out of what I thought was the worst point in Tennessee football history.
Yep,
was when he took it over, in my opinion, just based on all the things that were going on and the dumpster fire that this program was at the time that he got here. But I can see where, people want to see the program moving forward. They want to see forward momentum. The thing that I still argue for him is he's had 2 double-digit win seasons here in 5 years, and we had none from 2008 until he got here. None. So my only thing and my only cautionary tale that I always say, and we shouldn't settle. We should not settle. Once it looks like our program's not going in the right direction, we need to make a change. My only thing is, when you've got a guy that's proven that he can win double-digit games in a season, you better be damn sure you're replacing him with somebody better than him when you run him off.
The problem is, Bino, there are no guarantees. We've seen that.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
that's right.
And there's nobody with a pedigree out there for Tennessee. And there's not an Alex Cora out there for Tennessee, like with my Phillies, that's connected and allegedly wants a job. And by the way, your boy Donnie softball, they teach anything about baseball to these damn Yankees, Bino?
I can't believe you're getting on Don Mattingly. Let's see. He turned that barge full of dung completely around.
Yeah, now they're out.
And you're getting on him.
Now they're out of the playoffs.
Out of the playoffs.
Yeah. They're either tied with from the last wild card spot or out of the playoffs. That's how bad this shit's been. Bino, don't piss me off today and talk about Donnie softball. Why'd you introduce that into the conversation?
I did not, Tony.
No. Davey Boy said the only guy I would want if Heupel's gone is Golish. Ugh. Golish is awful. Auburn made a
I don't know that Golish is awful.
Auburn made a bad hire. Bad hire. I'm not a hot taker, Bino, am I?
No, you're not, Tom.
Golish.
Oh, and I loved one of your hot takes. I agreed totally with it.
Hit it.
Other than Tennessee, I hope an SEC or Big Ten team does not win the national championship. The only problem with that, the only drawback is the only teams that can, if it's not one of those,
Notre Dame,
is Notre Dame and Miami and Texas Tech. So I'm not sure I'm for any of that either.
Yeah, the whole sport's getting annoying. When you can't find somebody that you want to win the Natty besides your team, that means the whole damn thing is getting annoying. Now, as the year unfolds, there will be great stories. There will be teams that are fun.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody emerges from the pack. Maybe somebody out of this top 25 that was just dropped is kind of fun. A Washington, somebody comes off the, not the scrap heap. It'd be funny to see like a Houston win it, somebody like that. It'd be highly comical. It's not going to happen. Maybe a BYU. I don't know. But it would
your
be
boy
funny.
Signetti somehow made Indiana intolerable. I mean, and they've just come out. That would have been a story that everyone could celebrate. Now, hardly anyone wants them to win it again.
That's exactly right. They went from a great, fun story to really obnoxious.
Yeah, I hope they get their helmet knocked off.
I mean, screw those guys. The gold standard. Woo! Just so damn annoying. By the way, we're wide open for you if you want to get in at 865-200-5402. And if we don't get a call in the next moment or so, I'm out of here. My friends at High Noon, their hard line of seltzers, always a winner, always next level. High Noon Vodka Seltzer, 14 flavors, real vodka, real fruit juice, only 100 calories, no sugar added. Yesterday, there was a guy drinking a pineapple, High Noon, in front of me out there at Calhoun's on the marina where we were. He was living the good life out there on the lake and enjoying himself at the marina. If you're in a mood for a kick, the High Noon Vodka Iced Tea, 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon. They also have green tea, half and half. If you're feeling adventurous, High Noon Tequila Seltzer is there for you as well. Check it out. 6 refreshing flavors, including in honor of Bino, the Texas game, Blood Orange. High Noon, real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun's always out. Your High Noon Spirits Company, 21 and over. And enjoy responsibly. We're going to go back to our phones without further ado. 865-200-5402. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix Pruitt's Neck Gator said season's only weeks away, and Tony's already talking about he should replace Heupel. It's not what I said. What are you doing, dude? The hell's wrong with you people? Bino, did I say anybody should replace Heupel?
No, you didn't, Tony.
Thank you. Some of you are special. And I mean special. As in special. What the hell, man? I just said he's one of the most underrated coaches in the league. And then the reality
in this league, at a place like Tennessee, with high expectations, you get into year 6, year 7.
Yep.
You know, those are going to be measured years. You know, if you haven't won, you know, we like I said, we've had double-digit season victories, but we haven't won a playoff game, and so you know that's the new world now. Too.
To the phones we go at 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us on our high noon hotline, and we'd love to hear from you. We would absolutely love to hear from you today on the show. Let's go ahead and go to the phones. Tomorrow we're going to do the overrated, underrated. I don't want your call on that. But if you have anything else you'd care to add, we're just sort of setting tomorrow's show up. And by the way, like and subscribe over at YouTube. We're at 5,500 people right now. I'd like to get to 10,000 here shortly. I think it would be a lot of fun, and we could do that during the year. My goal is to double your pleasure is my goal during the year. In the meantime, I'd like some of you, like W. Lynn's Breath, who's going to get a 24-hour timeout to think about what you write and what you say and how you talk about people, and it's not necessary. Punch down. So you get a 24-hour timeout, my friend. You think about what you're doing. As we go to the phones, we celebrate people here. We're inclusive of people here. And we don't act like assholes. So if you want to do that, go somewhere else. Let's go to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony.
Yes.
You know, it's Parker. What's up?
Hey, Parker. Good to talk to you, my friend.
Guys, I'm back. It's like Ace Farley. I'm not back in the New York groove. I'm back in the Basilio groove.
Thank you, my brother.
It's a good jam for those who don't know. Anyway, guys, even though it's a crisp 95 degrees right now in Knoxville, it's starting to feel like football time. I'm excited.
Boy, it's hotter than hell, isn't it, man? Like, what are we doing?
Is that storm really coming today? Have y'all heard about that? Like at 5 o'clock?
What kind of no, I have not.
Like major storm. Like I don't think like funnels and touchdown tornadoes.
Oh no. Woo! That stuff scares me, man.
I don't know how accurate it is. I mean, you never know. I feel bad for these poor weathermen because they're the most smartest people in the world, or the dumbest. So who knows?
How do you predict weather when you're in a bowl like we are here?
How do you predict bowl games? But that's another topic.
Interesting.
So I haven't really been able to catch up with anything since the scrimmage on Saturday. Who's the consensus of who won the job on Saturday, or is it still up for grabs between GMAC and Faison?
It's mildly up for grabs. Faison Brandon, after Saturday, I'm convinced is going to be the quarterback.
Did he just make less turnovers? Was he just more accurate with the ball?
He was very good. He was very
Yeah.
good.
Did he process it quickly too? That's another question.
Yeah, he did what they wanted. He threw the ball very well. He was decisive. He had a really good day. The receivers around him had a really good day. Their offense had a really good day, and he was very good. And he passed the test Saturday. And I don't think GMAC flunked the test, so to speak. I don't think he was like a miserable failure. But my understanding is that Brandon was noticeably and much better than him.
This how quickly, if Faison's named, how quickly do you think GMAC's like team starts reaching out to other schools? Do you think it's going to be like instant, or
no?
I
think they're smart enough to know that you've got to keep yourself in the game. Thrody wrote it best today. You're going to get an opportunity this year if you're GMAC. Chances are, this guy's a freshman who's going to run around. Chances are this guy's going to miss time. You've got to keep yourself fully in the boat because they're going to call your name at some point during the year. Chances are you're going to get an opportunity, and that's going to be, who knows? I mean, you might could win the job at some point. We never know how these things are going to shake out, but for this particular point in time, Faison Brandon went out over the weekend and had a very, very, very good showing in that. Scrimmage.
Well, you never know. I mean, you go on the road at Georgia Tech, and Faison throws a couple of picks. He's unrattled as his first game. They could easily throw GMAC in there and see what happens.
Anything's possible. Hey, with young quarterbacks, you can expect that. I wouldn't expect Faison Brandon to go out there against Georgia Tech and have a non-choppy showing. I would expect choppy waters. How about the panel? We're expecting that, right?
Yeah, I think that defensive coordinators are going to throw a lot of curveballs at Faison. I think it'll be a typical true freshman starting quarterback type of season. And to answer your question, Parker, I mean, every individual is different. But it would be the rare individual that has 4 years of eligibility left, and a guy beats him out that's younger than him, who doesn't begin to look maybe elsewhere in this current climate. My guess would be if by mid-season it's clear that Faison is the quarterback of the future. I mean, I wouldn't be stunned at all if the McIntyre family started to kind of look elsewhere for other opportunities.
Sure, especially with another one in the pipeline coming down for Tennessee, another quarterback as they stack them. Here, look, the thing is that we just have to understand at that position, these people are going to move around. It's just where the sport is now. And I don't hold it against anybody, but I don't think that happens in September with those people. And by the way, Rodney Kraft, you're suspended for 24 hours, man. What about no politics don't you understand? Nobody gives a damn about your political leanings, man. Shut the hell. You're not doing that in here. You're not going to do that on the show. You're not going to do that on my YouTube. You're not going to do that in my face. What about that don't you understand, man? We get it. You are evolved. We get it, man. Shut the hell up. Let us enjoy a space here. Let us talk sports. Let us enjoy ourselves.
We're just trying to talk ball. That's it.
Such an idiot.
I have no idea what he's saying, by the way.
You don't need to know.
Driving. Yeah.
You don't need to know.
Guys, is Georgia Tech still running like, I call it triple option light, where they're not running like what Paul Johnson did with the flex bone, but limit possessions, do those 14-play drives, but throw some more RPO stuff, because I could see a situation where we go so fast against Furman and, Faison, whoever is going to fill in control, but then it's going to be a complete opposite game against the Yellow Jackets. Is that basically what they're still doing?
I believe.
I don't know.
I believe both teams are going to play slower in that game.
Yeah,
that's my expectation.
I'm just saying, like, if Tennessee goes and runs 85 or 90 plays against Furman, and then you cut that in half because Georgia Tech is trying to hold the ball for 6 or 8 minutes, things could get interesting. But we've destroyed every ACC team. We've played, or Heupel's played every year except the Pitt.
Yeah. Generally, at the line of scrimmage, we destroy these teams. That's exactly right. Now, I don't know, because this coach that they have has more of an SEC approach, and he's a former lineman, and they have tougher teams, but they lost a lot off their football team last year. And this Mendoza kid is sort of a runaround running quarterback, which lends me to believe that the game will be played in front of them. I don't know unless we have some busts. Obviously, they're going to try to throw the ball long a few times. Everybody does it in the modern game, and that kid's capable of doing that. But I really believe Tennessee will be able to handle those guys the closer we get to it.
Well, guys, appreciate you. Let me hop in and talk some ball for a little bit. Looking forward to this year. And, Tony, I'll be at some of the Calhoun Fridays. So,
yeah,
look forward
man.
to seeing you and Bino too, guys.
Football Fridays at Calhoun's going to be unbelievable. And what a home
Look
schedule
forward to it,
we
Parker.
have. What a home schedule we have. You think about that. Georgia Tech game might be a perfect game for the Vols because I think it's hard to lose those ACC games when you're where we are right now as a program. However, which means it's a great test for you. It's a game on the road, which really grows up your kids in a hurry. But it can also expose weaknesses on your roster. Hopefully your dress rehearsal to start the year, hopefully that helps you work the kinks out. The old adage is, and I don't know if it's true anymore, but the old adage in the days of the 3 and 4 year football players, 3, 4, and 5 year players that stayed around was your most improvement that you would make is from year 1 to year 2. I would think that or game 1 to game 2. I would think that your greatest improvement now that you would make would be between game 1 and game 5 would be my guess now, Bino. There's no way by week 2 you have it all ironed out on these campuses. There's just no way. There's too much flux, too much change.
No, that's right. Too much turnover.
I'm not sure there's an ACC team that would scare me except maybe Miami. Well, Miami.
Yeah, I think that's right, Brian. That league is Miami bought a team off Miami bought their key player out of their own league.
I think there's probably 6 or 7 SEC teams that would finish at least second in that league.
And the thing about Georgia Tech is they lost.
If not win it.
They lost an awful lot. Now, I respect the hell out of that head coach. But the head coach isn't going to play the game. But here's the thing we don't know. How many surprises do they have in camp? How many guys that were number 2 on their depth chart are going to step, just like Tennessee? How many guys were number 2 on the depth chart going to step up and be stars in their league? There might be a couple, for all we know. And then on your side of the ball, how do you take care of the ball? How do you handle the crowd? How do you handle the fact that the lights are bright? How do you handle the fact that I got something on tape from the first week you didn't do right? Do you correct it? Or does it become an issue? How are we with penalties? How are we with staying in front of the chains rather than behind them? Does that sort of thing occur? I mean, it's truly why the sport is really a great sport, because you watch it unfold. And I'm talking about this era of college football. It's almost like a Polaroid photo that you watch each week come more into view. And then you're 6 weeks into the season and you look at the photo and you go, okay, it's a pretty photo. It's an ugly photo. It's a photo that needs work. Damn, look at Tony's nose. But this whole thing from week 1 to week 2 is your best improvement. Now, there's no way in hell that's true. Those coaches can say that. There's no way in that modern game where the line play is so in flux. They don't know each other. And that's another advantage the Vols have. For the most part, that offensive line's intact. Should be a huge advantage in that game for Tennessee. To road grade those guys, Bino. Your boy Bishop might have a big night, Beanstar.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a real good football game, Tony. You guys have said this before, and I agree with it. I think this Georgia Tech game is a lot more in line with that game that we played at Pittsburgh rather than the games that we played against Syracuse or NC State or or the others. They're going to be physical. Keys teams are always physical. They're going to be able to run the football, and it's in their house. So I think this is a much bigger test. I know they've had huge turnover, but they're also used to playing in this level of game, playing Georgia every year. And I think it's going to be a real test for Tennessee. We go down there and win that football game, I think we're all going to feel real good about our program going into the game against Texas.
Back to our phones we go. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Bino, Joshy boy.
Hey, Joshy boy, welcome in.
Good. Had a great day yesterday, guys. I went to the Braves game with my mom. Had a good time, and they won, obviously.
Good for you, Joshy.
Yeah. Got to see Matt Olson hit the game-winning 3-run bomb in the 8th inning.
Tell you what, man. Braves are a very, very interesting club. I don't know how I feel about their postseason chances, Josh, but they're a very interesting club, man.
Let me ask you, Tony, if you were the Braves, who would you rather play in the NLDS? Would you rather play the Brewers or the Dodgers?
Well, I would probably rather see the team that doesn't have the history. And I know the Dodgers are sort of lost their way, and they had a setback with their pitcher yesterday. One of their great starters. You're still going to have to knock them out when the time comes. I'd probably rather have that young Brewer team and see how they handle it.
Yeah, I agree with you, though. They really don't have a really good history in the playoffs.
The real answer to that is you want the Phillies to somehow get in there. You chew them up and spit them out.
I'd rather the Phillies just miss the playoffs.
Well, there's some bad history against the Phillies in the playoffs too.
Yep.
So
there is.
Not this Phillies team. Bryce Harper's out there undermining Donnie Softball with that leaking that story about Cora yesterday to the press. God, Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Speaking of baseball, before I get to some Tennessee football, did you guys see yesterday in that Cubs-Cardinals game when PCA went yard? There was this guy going after his home run ball, and he shoved a female fan out of the way.
I'm convinced that sometimes when that adrenaline gets going, it just shows the worst of us, man.
It does.
I mean, that Delco Karen, as they called her, that took that ball from that kid down in Miami, that Phillies fan, that woman.
Yeah.
She had that rough Delco look, the dyed blonde hair, the whole thing. Looked like she smoked about 48 heaters a day.
Yep.
Took that ball, Bino, right out of a young kid's hands. And then yesterday you got a guy shoving a woman to the ground. Isn't that assault, Bino? At the end of the day, when I put my hands on you, isn't that assault?
I guess that's assault, Tony, but I don't know if I don't know if you could make that stand up in court when you're going after a baseball.
I know. I would love to see that litigated. We ought to get Marcos on here. Does that woman have a case? Is that like assault? It's not felonious assault, but it's some kind of assault.
Oh. Some kind, yeah. Okay, guys.
If she didn't get hurt or anything, I mean,
true. Yeah.
I don't see how it could be any crime.
Yeah. Guys, who would you say after, well, we know Arian Carter's out 2 games and obviously Andres Farouk's out for the whole season. Who would you say is our top guy on defense now?
Well, Carter's going to be one of your key players. You just mentioned him, but the guy that's really
I'm talking about the first 2 games of the season. Who would
the guy that's really going to make it go is our tackle from Penn State. The tackle from Penn State has to bring it to the table this year.
You talking about Campbell, Tony?
No, he's a linebacker. I'm talking about the tackle that comes from Penn State.
Oh, okay. Gilliam.
He's talking about Xavier Gilliam.
Yeah, and he's a guy they love. He's a guy that's had a great camp. He's a guy that's got to lead them, and they've got to be very good in the middle, especially now in light of what happened with the Coleman kid that came with him.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Tony, how does stuff like that always happen to us? Like the Chaz Coleman situation, obviously, and you got what happened with Boo Carter last year than the previous year with Nico. How does, I know it happens at different universities, but how does stuff happen like that to us mostly?
It's just college football. It happens to everybody, man. But it feels
I think that's right, Josh.
Yeah.
We're just so hyper-focused on our own.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like what it feels like, but the truth is it just is what it is, Joshy boy, at this point.
Yeah.
Joshy, I'm gonna go with I'm going with Jordan Norman as the most important defensive player.
Another one. That's very good,
Good
Bino.
pick, Bino.
And this is indicative of what we're talking about. Those are two transfers. And Norman's a guy they love, which would be the second year in a row. If that happens, that would be the second year in a row their key transfer comes from Tulane. And only speaks to what's going on in the sport. And by the way, the Mensa kid, who Miami has paid a boatload of money, I believe, matriculated from Duke to Duke from Tulane. He's got a nice little program.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony, I told Bino weeks ago, I am predicting I'm going to be a big sheep right now, but I know going into that 2022 season, Tennessee was very much off the radar. Much of the experts didn't think they would do anything. This season, I am going to predict the Tennessee Volunteers go 10-2 this season with losses to South Carolina and Texas A&M. Have a good day.
Thank you. I think the better comparison for this season's 21, which set up 22. You find your quarterback this year. Is that that's ring true to you, Bino? The second year
I think that's a pretty good thought, Tony.
And the explosion and all that stuff. I'm not telling anybody how to think. I mean, Josh, boy, I hope it happens, obviously. He's so great for our community, so great for everybody involved. But so many just moving parts and key transfers, and defense going to be a work in progress. It's just the way it is. I don't look for them to be great from the word go. Maybe it shouldn't surprise anybody that the offense had an advantage over the weekend. I do understand the receiving play was very good over the weekend. So, anything else, guys? I got to get out of here.
No, Tony, it's good to be back on. You guys have a great week.
Love you, brother. Thank you. Come on in on Friday. Adams is in here, Gino, along with Matt Dixon. I'm going to ask you tomorrow, who are the three most underrated coaches in the league, three overrated? One of them coaches for John Adams' club. He's either in the overrated or underrated. Maybe by that point, Rodney will be unblocked. I guess it'll take till, the middle of the overtime. Rodney, what are you people going to learn, man? When are you going to learn? I'm not a pushover. You're not just going to walk over me. Either respect what we're doing or I'll block your ass. And then you'll have to come in here like the ghost of Rodney. Like the ghost of Dr. Z. I had to jerk a knot in him. Till we meet again, shout out to my friends at High Noon. It's High Noon somewhere. I love you. I appreciate you. It's incredible. Can we just make this thing politics free? Can we do that? Can we have one space that we can enjoy? Shit.